Your agency will fail in the next 12 months unless you embrace this one simple principle. Now, I've surveyed thousands of agencies, and the 99% who feel undervalued and overworked all have one thing in common. But the 1% of agencies who were happy with the money they were making, the time they spent in the office, and the progress of their business all had one principle that they stuck to no matter what. Now, this doesn't matter if you've been running an agency for years or if you're brand new. I'm going to show you how to implement this principle into your agency, what the top 1% of agency owners are doing, and give you an example of an agency owner who put this principle actually into practice, and it revolutionized her business. And to start, we need to understand the massive mistake that likely you and 99% of other agencies are making that is holding your business back, and it isn't what you're thinking. So what's really interesting about this to me is that when you realize what this principle is, you will see it everywhere. And anytime there's a business that you admire or you see as successful, I'll guarantee that they've embraced this as a fundamental principle within their business. Now, when I first started my agency, I would work my ass off for clients, over delivering and overworking. And at the time, I would undercharge massively for my services because frankly, I didn't really think I deserved to charge higher prices. I would do entire websites for £500, and even then customers would complain about the price. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been there. I had three things that told me my business was a failure. One, I wasn't making enough money. Two, I was working way too many hours. And three, I was actually finding it really hard to find clients and keep them. I didn't really feel like the business was growing, and I was basically stuck. And so I asked my mentor what I was doing wrong. And I thought he would reveal some long lost, hidden but powerful marketing technique that I sort of was privy to now and that would turn my business around. But instead, he asked me, do you want to be a marketer or run a marketing business? And I was like, that's dumb. That's a dumb question. I am running a marketing business, and to do that, I need to be a marketer, right? But then he outlined that the doer and the owner are two completely different roles. You see, many agencies are started by the doer, the SEO person, the designer, the marketer, and they start a business to do that work for their clients. And their business is judged by their work. So their business is judged by their performance. Have you ever looked at a restaurant on Kitchen Nightmares or had a bad experience at a business and thought, how can they possibly get this wrong? It's not that hard. So how can we make that transition within our own business? I'll come on to that in a second using this sort of little tripod model that I've got here. You see, most business owners will refuse to make this transition, and that's why they'll always be stuck in the 99% of agencies who are unhappy, underpaid, and overworked. And the best part, though, is that this principle is extremely simple. So in a second, I'm going to walk you through a real-life case study of someone who did this and landed something like $50,000 worth of work in just a few weeks with no cold calls, no creating new products, no working yourself to exhaustion. Your business has a very simple workflow. So I'm going to draw this out. Even the most complex and massive businesses in the world follow this basic layout. And what makes a business successful, stuck, or dead is where you, the business owner, where you place your time and energy. And it's a bit like knowing which lever to pull and which to let go of. And it's basically a tripod, as you can see, and each of these sides represents a part of the business. And the two critical measures of success in a business are time and money. Ask a business owner and they always want more of both. So a successful business like the 1%, they have more time and more money. And if they want to increase one of those metrics, they can do so without sacrificing or spending the other. So at the top, we have S and M, we have D and O, and we have F and A. Now money comes in the top here via S and M. And let's say it's like $100 or something, and you'll probably lose around $10 at the top, okay? And then another $20 might go over to this side, And then the rest, let's say $50, goes over to the D&O side, which leaves us, if my maths is correct, with roughly $20, right? That's profit. And the same goes with our time each day. Let's say that we have 8 hours a day. 2 get spent on the top, 2 get spent on this side, and 2 get spent on that side. And that leaves us with 2 hours spare. So that's 6 hours work, essentially, even though we had 8 to start with. Now, this is what a healthy, well-run business looks like. However, this one over here is what your business looks like, right? This is the unhappy business. You have time and money coming in, just like everybody else. However, you and other unhappy agencies, you'll still lose $10 at the top, but you will also lose $10 to like this side over here, the FA side, and then $80 to the DO side. And it's the same with your time allocation. In fact, it's even worse. You are likely getting in 8 hours a day and all of it is going into the D&O side. And that means you're not left with any time or money. Like, whereas this company over here has 2 hours and $20, you don't have anything. There's nothing left in the business. So to make the transition from what you're doing to what we should be doing, we need to unpack this tripod. I'm going to use the example of Erin, who was a solo business owner that I worked with for a while, and she was doing everything from the delivery, the admin, the sales of the business. So let's see how Erin increased her cash flow and changed her business and kept more money in the business as profit. Now this top S&M, it stands for sales and marketing. This is basically how you get money coming into the business, how you find clients, right? And this is where Erin made a huge change in terms of where she spent most of her time. This section over here, the FA, is finance and admin. This stuff like chasing invoices, paying bills, doing taxes, that kind of stuff. Most of the time, it's not a full-time job, but it does have to get done in order for the business to continue ticking over. And Erin spent time here, but not enough to sort of make massive gains within the business. A little quick pro tip, by the way, the FA work is the easiest and fastest to hire someone else to do. But over here, on the right-hand side, the D&O section, that stands for delivery and operations. This is executing work for the client, delivering the work. Now remember earlier when I said most business owners are actually doers? That's because they spend most of their time over in this section, and that's where they spend most of their money. Erin changed her entire approach and began to move from doer to owner by removing herself from the delivery and the operations part of the work. Instead, she would focus on finding clients, spending most of her time up here, making sales and growing revenue. And any new work that came in, she'd make sure she had someone in the business to be able to execute that work. And I asked my mentor, how do I actually make the leap? Someone has to do the work, right? And he asked, if I could no longer deliver or do any of the work, what would I do instead? And so I thought for a while, and I responded that obviously I'd hire someone. And he was like, right. And I thought, yeah, but I can't afford to hire someone. So he said, okay, well, what do you need to do then? And I realized that I probably needed to do something about my pricing. And I said, and Erin said the same thing to me when I relayed this information to her, I'm the only one who knows how to deliver the work I've sold. But there's an extremely simple answer to this question. And luckily, I've recorded a video about just that right here. So if you've decided that you want to look into hiring, removing yourself from the work and increasing your prices, I've got a video here that explains exactly how you can raise your prices so you can afford to hire someone else.